Well, the Scudetto's wrapped up. The Champions League places are all decided. Europa League places are all decided. Relegation's almost decided. So what's left to play for? Oh, Richard and I will figure that out, won't we? There's still another week of this thing to go. Let's have a sit down.
That's a little bit better. It is a stunner from Fabio Quagliarella. Top again for Jacko, who's in for Robin and scores.
Ciao ragazzi, and welcome to another edition of Serie Sitdown, World Football Index's podcast of Calcio told like it is. I'm Frank Crivello. He's Richard Carmen. Ciao, Richard.
Ciao, Frank. How are we doing on this? What day are we? Sunday. It's Sunday. We're back on Sunday.
Yeah, we are back on Sunday night because you think you can just go and take vacation whenever you want, so we can't record on Tuesday night.
The Scudetto's wrapped up, so I was like, I'm just gonna get out of town. Well, I don't want to hear all this Juventus chatter. By the way, a lot of people have chimed into me this tonight saying, keep Frank under an hour talking about Juventus on this title. So I'm like, okay, I'll do that.
checking out early, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I will not begrudge you of that. So I am going with the good people of New Glarus Brewing Company. Spotted Cow is my beer of choice. As I've been saying ever since the quarantine, I've been trying to keep the beer drinking local. So we'll go with our in-state, in this case. New Glarus, I think, is a couple hours drive north of where I live. So,
okay.
But nonetheless, great tasting beer that none of you are going to get to have because it's only sold in Wisconsin.
I'm going with a little bit of water. Not that we're sponsored by Bubbly, though. If they want to, they can certainly sponsor us. Just not drinking any alcohol right now. Just tomorrow's gonna be a long day, so I just figured I'll hydrate myself now and not pay for it later.
Yep. So we have 2 match days remaining before all is said and done. But the Serie A title officially wrapped up today with Juventus making it 9 in a row after beating Sampdoria, and we'll talk about that game here in a moment. But let's start at the top. Juventus are champions again. I thought they would do it at the beginning of the season, considering Sarri coming in. We thought it would be take some steps back, fall behind a little bit, and then we'd see Sarri ball, but we haven't really seen Sarri ball. It's been awfully strange. But, let's start with this question, Richard. COVID has made this championship strange enough, but I can't remember a more strange way to win a Scudetto, in all of this time. Gilia Patate won. Ciao ragazzi. Good to see you. Thanks for checking in. I can't remember a more strange set of circumstances with which a team won a title. Obviously the COVID break, but then they were dropping so many points, and the teams that had their look at it. Lazio had a look at it. Atalanta was making a charge. Inter had their look at it. Yeah, they kept dropping points. So it almost becomes Juventus wins this by default.
Yeah, I think so. And lots of people were chiming in on this on Twitter. That the teams that had the best opportunity, Lazio, Atalanta, Inter, they all had their opportunities and they all blew it away. They just couldn't. When the time came, crunch time came, they choked it away in whatever facet they did. And despite all the inefficiencies, inconsistencies by Juventus, ultimately they were the most consistent bunch of everybody. And say what you will, but they're consistent and they continue winning. And it's going to take a valiant effort by a team for the whole season to dethrone them. It's 9, and it can only get stronger because this is I think Neiman's the one who tweeted this out earlier. He said, this is probably the best chance somebody's going to have with Sarri because this is his first year and the team is not his guys yet. But maybe next year they're going to be a lot more stronger. They're going to be playing Sarri ball next year. So it's unfortunate for those 3 teams, those 3 contenders. But maybe next year we have some stronger competition, and maybe they can give Juventus a run to the last day.
Is this in the 9 years that Juventus have dominated this competition? Is this the worst of the 9 Juventus teams?
It feels like it, doesn't it? It feels like
a little.
I mean, at least with Conte and Allegri, they had a system. They knew what they wanted, and it's kind of how the style they're going to play. Sarri, we all had this hope that he's going to play Sarri ball, like you said earlier, play this beautiful style of football, and it never got to that. And I think because of that, we all had all this high hope for watching that kind of style of play, and it never culminated. Excuse me. And so yeah, it does feel like it was the worst one of the bunch. They were very consistent at times. This is probably the most losses they've had in a season in a while. And every all those players that we thought could have done really well this year really didn't. They had the Pjanic issues. You had Khedira. You had a bunch of other stuff. Oh, Khedira's gone, but Matuidi, you had people retiring. It just felt like the time that they could have lost, and they didn't. But so this is certainly out of the 9 that they had in a row, this is probably the weakest team I feel possibly, or at least the weakest team in terms of the final outcome. I don't know.
When you take a look at it, and I mean, let's look at it position by position. Goalkeeper, I actually think Wojciech Szczesny's had a solid season. I mean,
I agree.
Look who you have to compare him against.
Yeah.
Probably the greatest goalkeeper to ever play in Gianluigi Buffon. You look at the defense. You have a Leonardo Bonucci who loses people in crossing situations for various reasons. And the majority of the season, he's partnering with a Matthias de Ligt, who has a world of promise, a world of potential, is going to be a world-class defender by the time his career is over, is going to be regarded as one. But this was a learning year for him.
Yeah.
They didn't have a consistent right back. They had to deputize Juan Cuadrado at right back. They had Alexandro at left back, in and out of the lineup with injuries and inconsistencies. Dear Ronaldo, stop taking free kicks, and good evening, gents. Good evening, Bob.
Good evening, Bob.
Good evening, George. Good to see you. George Zenga out. I'm telling you that right now. I lost some money today on Cagliari. But anyway, getting back to it. So you look at that, you look at the midfield, and the midfield constantly gets criticized. Pjanic has a ton of miles on him, and doesn't appear to be the same guy anymore. I think he's been decent in the couple of appearances that he's made lately. Rodrigo Bentancur, I think, is on the upswing. I think that there's a positive you can take out of that. I've been very impressed with Adrian Rabiot over the last handful of games. So this is a midfield that I think a lot of people are critical of, but a midfield that is getting better. When you take a look at it, and then in attack, it is best when Ronaldo and Dybala are together. It seems it's the most dangerous. It's the most unpredictable. You have Higuain in there who, decent. But you're talking about those guys. It's just the struggle to find a consistent third guy to work in with him, whether you have Higuain as the striker, or you have Bernardeschi off to the side, or you have Douglas Costa. None of those guys stuck. So there was a lot of questions being asked of this Juventus team throughout the entire season, and here you go. They're at the top.
Yeah, and this, like you said, from a lot of fluid pieces this year. A lot of the midfield players didn't really stick. Costa and some of the attackers didn't really stick. A lot of fluid pieces here, and with De Ligt coming in this year, he had to learn his way around the league. Took him some while, looked like a fish out of water at the beginning, but he came on strong at the end of the season. For me, he was the strongest defender out of their back line at the end of the season. Bonucci seemed he kind of wavered, and I guess maybe with the age is catching up to him. I don't know, but overall they did enough together to get by, and they were consistent enough to get the title. And you can't ask more for a champion. They did it the Juventus way, I guess, where it doesn't have to be pretty. It was an Allegri type way, right? It wasn't always pretty, but they got the job done.
What does it say about the teams that had their shot that they couldn't catch them this year? Nima made a very good point. This might be the year to beat Juventus for a while. Yeah. Inter had some looks at it and couldn't get it done. They actually were at the top of this table at the beginning of the season. Lazio going into the COVID break was a point out. George. If Cagliari had cardboard cutout fans, they would try to leave after today's performance.
He's trying to get into Calcio Twitter. There you go. Put it in there.
I think he's in. You got to tweet that, George. You got to tweet that. But I'm writing that down right now, George. We can do that. It's our contest.
It's our show. Yeah.
If Cagliari, I'm writing this down. If Cagliari had cardboard cutouts. Talk about the three that screwed this thing and kept it from being a race.
Yeah, Inter, like you said, it started out in the lead at the beginning of the season. They slowly wavered. I never thought that Inter had a chance to win the Scudetto this year. I thought they'd be in the mix for sure, because you would with Antonio Conte. But Conte typically needs 2 seasons. Obviously it was a blip, a different circumstance with Chelsea. So I figured the second year with Conte would be the year that challenges for Scudetto. So it wasn't a surprise to me that Inter wasn't there the whole time. Lazio, big surprise. Many people thought it was gonna be a setback, including me. I thought it was gonna be a setback this year after last year's campaign. They came back with a vengeance. They were there tooth and nail. Up. I think that COVID break may have messed with them. Part of it also is the mental thing. We talked about this at length, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. But with them, I think they're so close. They have the right starting 11 if they can lock them all up. They need depth, no doubt about it. They need depth because when guys started going down with injury, you could tell the big difference between Juventus and Lazio with the depth department. Sure. It was night and day between them. And then Atalanta was the surprise of it all. We thought there would be fun at Atalanta like they had been in the past. We saw what they did last year. But this year they just started turning it on, and then against the bigger clubs too. When they, I think the games when they won 5-0 against Parma, 5-0 against Milan, everyone's like, "Whoa, hold up." Maybe they, once they got the Europa League or Champions League out of the way early on, the first half of the group stage, then it's kind of like they woke up and they're like, we can do both these in the league and Champions League, and they just started performing like crazy, taking down everybody, and then goal scoring like no other. And they were really the surprise, the darlings of the season, whether you like them or not. And they end up coming in the hunt at the end of the season, came close. But I think next year, look out for them. If they don't lose too many guys through transfers, they have to be one of the top 3 teams for next year.
Yeah, indeed. So is Inter the closest title rival here to Juve?
Going to next year, I would say yes.
Okay.
I would say yes. Conte's got to be bringing in more guys. The Tonali piece is still out there. The rumors now that Milan is maybe into the fight too, but you got to think Juventus and Inter are in it, and maybe there's another team there, whether on the peninsula or not. But Inter are going to get stronger. They're already going to have another year under Conte, and they're going to get more pieces in Conte's pieces. So I look for them to be strongest contenders going into next season.
What are Conte's pieces, by the way? That's where I have a problem. I think Conte's pieces are the players that he desires, because the players in house just lost a match and he's not happy with them. But
he needs players that play a certain style. And I guess not every player that he has currently on the team can fit that mold, or not as flexible. Biraghi was terrible for most of the season.
Yeah,
he probably could use some help on the wing backs, both sides.
Sure. Center
backs was a nightmare. We thought it would be a dream center back pairing with the 3, ended up being a nightmare with 2 out of the 3. So he's going to find a center back to complement De Vrij, and then I think the strikers, we'll see what happens with Lautaro, but Sanchez, Alexis Sanchez is one of the signings of the year. Looks like at the midpoint. So
big revelation, especially post COVID. He's been outstanding for Inter.
Mr. Bob says Pazzo Inter.
Pazzo Inter. Yeah, there you have it. Milan's got to worry about top 4 before they can worry about contending for a title. I know, as Zlatan said, a couple of weeks ago, and it's all well and good, but I think a lot's going to depend on what they do in this transfer window. First and foremost, keeping the guys that they got, obviously keeping the core, which more and more you don't see a whole lot of stories now going, and I think it's going to be hard to move anybody, because if the saleable guys for Milan are, going to come at a hefty price that they're not going to get in this window, I don't think. It's that. Can they get a right back? Can they get a striker that can be ready to take the reins from Ibrahimovic, that's going to be okay with having a season under his wing and learning a little bit and getting the occasional games here? Who is that guy? That's something that the scouting department and everybody involved in Milan. And then I hate to say this, are the good times that Milanisti are having right now, because it is the reality. Will Pioli's act wear thin?
Yeah.
because it's happened everywhere else he's been. I mean, and he's a good guy. It's not because of that. It's not because he's this hardline disciplinarian. He's a player's manager from the accounts that you hear. It's, things get stale with them. They did it every other place that he's been at least as far as, the major Serie A teams are concerned.
Yeah, I agree. And, next year, like you said, many people want to put Milan up there in the list with, Lazio and Atalanta, or Atalanta and Inter. But let's see Champions League first. That's the first step. And like you said, there's always that shoe drop with Pioli. It's done fantastic now. The team's behind him, but when something goes wrong, everything should hit the fan or what?
Yep.
We'll see. Time to tell.
Let's come back to Juventus a little bit because this was supposed to be about them.
Whoops. Did they win or something?
Yeah, they won the title. We better talk about them a little bit here. So, Nima also referenced 2 players that are arriving next season. Arthur coming over from Barcelona, which I think upgrades that midfield immediately. And a midfield of him, Bentancur and Rabiot could potentially be a sight to behold if they click. And then Dejan Kulusevski, who has obviously been a huge revelation at Parma.
Yeah.
Is it time for him, for Juve to have him there permanently starting next season and have him be the third man in that 3-man attack where you're going Ronaldo, Dybala, and Kulusevski?
Why not? After the campaign he's had, I guess it depends how quickly he adapts to Sarri ball. I would rather see Douglas Costa in there just because when he's on, he's one of the best players in the world at doing what he does. But if it's not Douglas Costa, it's got to be Kulusevski. I think he's shown what he could do throughout the season. The kid never tires, and so why not? I mean, we've seen it before with Juventus, especially. They buy some players and it doesn't always pan out. Bernardeschi's a prime example. So I say give the kid a shot. If you're not going to start Douglas Costa or is unfit to do so, put in Kulusevski.
Yep.
I want to see what the kid can do.
Yep. Let's see how he blends with all of them.
Yeah.
It'd be god awful dangerous, that's for sure. So we'll see. And I mean, if it's true Saudi ball at Juve, it's going to be it's definitely going to be something to look forward to, something to watch.
How would you rate Sarri's season so far? If you in a scale of A through F, what would you give Sarri? Because he obviously had high expectations, and Champions League is still out there. We don't know what's going to happen with that yet. But the season they did win. It wasn't as pretty, or as it wasn't to their standard. But so, what would you give his grade wise this year?
I give him a B-. Okay, because I think he took a club and I think he took a dressing room and he didn't really do anything special with it. He didn't add any bells and whistles to it. He didn't add anything that makes you say this is an A performance. Yeah. He did an as you were job. And he let Juve be Juve. Maybe that merits getting an A.
Yeah, I was like, what if should you give him more credit because he didn't come in and try to do it Sarri way. He came in and said, let me start out slowly, and then realize, these guys are still implemented very, very thoroughly in this Allegri way. Let's continue to play then. I'll just tweak things here and there, try to make it a little bit better. And that's you gotta give him credit for that because some managers could come in and say this is my way or the highway, and it could have ruined things. So
true,
he didn't do that.
But I think I'm treating Sarri a little bit differently because I saw what I saw from him at Napoli,
right,
and then what I saw from him in his one season at Chelsea.
Yeah,
with what he turned them into, especially in the second half of that season.
Yeah.
I think that I hold him to a higher standard. I expect a different style of football from a Saudi managed team. Yeah. I didn't get that this season, and that's probably why I mark him down a little bit. Did he do everything he was supposed to do with respect to the league? Obviously he did. They won the title. But I guess I have, when he puts the kind of football that he's put out there for the last several years and the reputation that he's known for. And we didn't see that this year. He does fall off a little bit for me, but
yeah,
at the same time, here's where I will credit him. He got more flexible tactically He got more flexible from a rotation standpoint. He didn't run guys into the ground. Alex Toole, a good friend of mine, is giving him a C+. Bob Lex is giving him a B. I'm giving him a B-. I'm right in the middle of it with you guys.
Yeah.
So what happened to Dybala? He wasn't a danger man. I think when Dybala got the chance to start, he was very, very good.
Yeah.
He, what was it, the week before against Lazio, he was outstanding.
Yeah, he was.
And the funny part was he didn't start. He wasn't slated to start. Higuain was supposed to start. We talked about this last week. Higuain must not have had enough mate the night before or something like that, and it left him dehydrated, and it left him cramping up in warm-ups, and Dybala got the late start.
Yeah.
But I think when he was on and he was given his opportunity, I think he was very, very good. And he was a guy that you definitely couldn't ignore with as much attention that you were putting on CR7. So, but yeah, I can't, for the reasons that I've lined out, and I think, Sarri, I can't give Sarri an A. He basically made this look like, and Rafa, sorry to cut you off. And Rafa, our friend from the Napoli, from the Far From Vesuvius podcast, actually, I think, said it on Twitter, paraphrasing him. It seems anybody could go to Juve and win a Scudetto now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, especially those guys. Those guys have been with one coach for a long time. Allegri, I'm talking about. So they were ingrained in his way. It's very similar to when Ancelotti went to Napoli. They were ingrained in Sarri ball and that kind of style play for a long time. It's the first time in many years that you heard a lot of Juventini griping about wins or even losses in general.
Yeah.
How many times do we see them blow 2-0 leads? I mean, especially the most recent game against Milan when they lost. They would have never blown a 2-0 lead with Allegri, at least not in the league. And so that's the reason why not to give him A just right there. I mean, a lot of losses. It looked uneasy in some of the games, even against teams that weren't considered upper echelon, the quote unquote top six. So. Left many people head scratching. I mean, they lost to Udinese last week, and B- is probably a good place to go. I'm with you there.
Okay, I've convinced you.
You convinced me. Yeah, I was never going to go A. I might have gone B solid, but B-. I'll get a B-. I like it.
Yep. So there we have it. Juventus champions yet again, 9 years in a row. They're going to make it 10 in a row because that's what Serie is hard up for. So. That's just the way it is. So congratulations to them. If you listen to our friend Nima Tavalli, he says 10 in a row is definitely going to happen. If you were going to beat them, this was the year to beat them. So time to do a through pass on the midweek games before we deep dive into the weekend action, Richard. And I'll just go through the scores. Tuesday's games, and we talked about this on last week's pod a little bit. Atalanta beating Bologna 1-0. Milan traveling to Sassuolo and winning 2-1 with an Ibrahimovic brace. Parma 2, Napoli 1. Very uninspired Napoli in this game. I watched this one.
Yeah.
Inter 0, Fiorentina 0. Inter did just about everything but score in this game. Lecce confirming Brescia's relegation at the midweek by beating them by 3-1. Spal 1, Roma 6. Just an absolute thrashing by the Giallorossi, and 6-1. It wasn't even that close. The Derby della Lanterna, Sampdoria 1, Genoa 2. Thought this was a big surprise considering the form that Sampdoria was in going in.
I agree.
Torino 1, Hellas Verona 1. Surprise on Thursday, Udinese 2, Juventus 1. I watched this game. Udinese deserved all three of these points.
Yeah.
And Lazio 2, Cagliari 1. Competitive game there. What do you want to unpack from these games?
It's a lot to talk about. Obviously, I think Roma finally coming out of their shell, and they needed that explosion, especially with how close it's been for them. They're fighting off Napoli and Milan for that fifth spot. It looked like they let some frustration out there, and 2 goals in the first half, and then an onslaught in the second half. Good for Roma. Good to see Zaniolo back on the score sheet again. I was impressed by that. Spal, they look like they're definitely on vacation mode. They've been on vacation mode for a while now. But I was good to see a good smattering of goal scorers for them. Started off with Kalinic and ended with Zaniolo. So good performance by Roma, I thought.
That's right. Kalinic scored. You see how I did the through pass on these highlights because I didn't want to bring up Kalinic scoring again.
I don't blame you. I do not blame you.
Yeah, there was a red card in that game too. It was Kevin Bonifazzi in the 85th minute. I think he just about had enough and figured if I say something about the referee's mother, I can get out of here early. So
that's what he did.
And that's what he did. So
and the other thing that's really stuck out to me is that Atalanta have been struggling as of late. I don't know if teams have finally caught on to them. Milan. We'll talk about the Milan game here shortly, but Atalanta or Bologna, kept them pretty close for most of the game. It took the 62nd minute for Muriel to score, and they kept it at that scoreline, 1-0 against Bologna's a decent squad. They're very good, but you'd expect more from Atalanta, and maybe it's the season's getting to the end of it. Maybe they're trying to rest some guys for the Champions League. I don't know, but it would be a bad time for them to lose their hot streak just before Champions League. So because many people are now pegging them to maybe go deeper than anticipated. So
you're seeing some significant rotation with Atalanta right now. I mean, you've got some deeper reserves going out there and getting pitch time in the second half, which I think they need to do. And this Colley, who I still need to see a little bit more of. I don't have a total conclusion of what I think his potential is yet. He's one example. This Chibora that came on. They have the young Croatian kid that was part of the back three. So, Gasparini has been strategic in how he has mixed those guys in to try to give some other players a chance to rest, knowing the Champions League is on the horizon and knowing that there really isn't exactly much left to play for here in Serie A. Basically just to go out there and stay match sharpness. But it has to be said, take a page out of what Manchester City did today on the last match day. Pep didn't go out and play kids on match day 38. He played his best squad because he knows he's still got Champions League and he wants them to stay match sharp. And they sent Norwich to the woodshed, which a lot of people did this year, but 5-0 in a game that could have been 10, the way it went. And I think that Gasparini would be wise to take a look at that, and that if maybe this midweek, fixture, he wants to try to rest some guys fine, but match week 38 better, at least one of these two games, I think he has to play his best possible team.
I agree.
So that they are ready and that they have a training environment. And let me see who that is against.
Confidence is such a tricky thing, and you want to make sure you continue, because one little thing that makes them doubt themselves, double guess themselves, it can hurt them big time. So they need to keep it up, keep it going.
They close at home against Inter, and he should play his best possible team for that game. Because that's the last game, that's the last real game action that they're going to see before playing PSG. Mbappe looks like he might be out for the Champions League match. That'd be a big help.
That was a dirty tackle in that game against I forget who it was, but it's unfortunate because you want to beat the opposition with their best players, but if you can, if their best players out of there, it's looking better for Atalanta, but still, as Alexander Toole says, Atalanta realized the Scudetto was done and maybe they didn't try as hard. It's possible. Who knows? We'll see what the next remainder of the season looks like for the last two games for Atalanta to see where their head is at. Because I agree with you. They need to figure something out and get, stay hot going to Champions League, because it's going to be a big matchup against PSG.
Yep. Alex is a dear friend of mine, and he's not going to mind me saying this, that he's looking for excuses for why they didn't beat Milan on Friday. He's adopted Atalanta as his favorite team in Serie A.
Right on. All right on.
Right, Alex?
Could be worse. Could be Brescia fan, right?
So, so he's, it could be worse. Yeah, you could be a Brescia fan, Spal fan, our poor friends at UK Lecce.
Sorry, boys.
So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Udinese beating Juventus, but I'll tell you what, the manager for Udinese, hang in there and I'll tell you what his name is. I know his name.
Alex says what?
Luca Gotti.
Yeah, sure. Luca Gotti. Yeah,
Luca Gotti. Have they made him the full-time man yet? Because he should have it.
He should have it. I don't know if he has or not. We can look that up, and we can ask Sonia as well. But he should. He's definitely earned it. The team's played a lot better under him. Kevin Lasagna's played a lot better under him. DePaul, is playing back to his normal self. So, yeah, hire him, and the rest of the team is playing a lot better. And the win against Juventus, a deserved win, like you said, is ever proof of that.
And it was, I think it was kind of a look what I found. It's kind of a look what I found sort of win for them, really, when you look at what happened in the end with Fofana scoring, and making De Ligt and Alexandro look silly.
Yeah.
But I think that until that happened, I think that Gotti and company were going to be perfectly happy getting out of there with a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
But they got the win, and they deserved the win. I watched the match. I watched how it unfolded. They were definitely creating some things. Ken Sema was excellent in particular. He had the assist on Nestarovski's goal. Musso coming up again with another good performance with 4 big saves. Argentina, if you haven't made him your number one yet, you need to now. So they've earned the win. That was probably one of the biggest things I took from it. Obviously, the Roma beating over Spal, Zaniolo scoring again. We have a Who Won Calcio Twitter nominee as a result of that Zaniolo goal. And I think that, Lazio getting back to winning ways, and trying to finish the season on a strong note after the struggles that they had after the restart.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Musso continues to shine bright. He's going to be playing somewhere else next year. I don't think he'll be Udinese. I know Inter fans would like to have him as a replacement for Handanovic. But there's plenty of teams, I'm sure, in the upper end of the league are keeping a close eye on them. I'm sure Lazio are trying to wonder if Sarkosha is the right guy for them. He's young, he's 25 still or whatever. But he's going to be attracting a lot of attention, and he should be the national team starter for Argentina. It's a no-brainer for me. But
correct.
Who am I?
Correct. So that's the midweek. I think we covered it.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, not a whole lot of flash. I mean, Lecce obviously kept things alive with that 3-1 win over Brescia. Had to feel good about life until they saw that Genoa did beat Sampdoria. So the struggle continued for them. But anyway, that was the midweek games. Now let's move on to what happened over the weekend. Very interesting batch of games here, Richard.
Yeah, it certainly was. We'll start off with a heavyweight bout, Milan hosting Atalanta, and these two teams played like they were Scudetto contenders. Very good game. Milan looking the stronger of the two for a good part of the game. They started scoring in the 14th minute with a goal of the week candidate by Çalhanoğlu. A brilliant free kick from the side, a difficult angle, beating the keeper, making it 1-0. That lead would last for just about 20 minutes when some errors in the back. A good penetration by Atalanta let Duvan Zapata score the goal past Donnarumma. 1-1. That'll be all the goals in the game. This is a very entertaining game. A missed penalty by Malinovsky, saved by Donnarumma shortly after the Çalhanoğlu goal. So all honors even there. Moving on, Brescia hosting Parma. In that game, we saw Darmian, of all people, scoring a goal. Kulusevski making him look like a goal scorer. He scored in the 59th minute. Brescia would counter in the 62nd minute through De Sena, make it 1-1, and then the man who got the assist earlier, Kulusevski, would make it 2-1 in the 81st minute. Parma wins on the road against Brescia. Moving on to Genoa hosting Inter. Genoa, they're in a relegation battle at the moment, but they look like a relegation team against Inter. Scoring started in the 34th minute, Lukaku with a header, make it 1-0. The scoreline would remain there for a while, but then in the second half, in the 83rd minute, the ever young Alexis Sanchez gets a goal in the 83rd minute, and then a goal of the week candidate, a great solo run by Romelu Lukaku in the 93rd minute made it 3-0. Inter win on the road against Genoa. And moving on to Napoli, they would host Sassuolo. Lots of goals in this game. Husai. He was scoring the 8th minute, first goal for Napoli in 200 appearances or something. So he gets the opener there. What preceded was 4 goals by Sassuolo, which we came to expect. However, VAR was being excuse my French, a bitch to them, and took back every single one of those 4 goals. All good calls, by the way, looking at the replay. But 4 goals, that sucks to get 4 goals taken away from you by VAR. And then to put insult to injury in the 93rd minute, Alan would get the game or make it 2-0. That's how it would end. And then to round up my bunch, the game that had the most shots maybe ever, I don't know, Bologna hosting Lecce. I would go shot by shot, but there's 50 some shots in this game, and I'm not going to do that. So scoring started earlier.
53 shots in this game.
Wow, that's a lot. I mean, there was no defense apparently. Scoring started early. Goal of the week candidate Palacio would get a goal after a lovely backheel flick by Musa Barrow. And then 3 minutes later, Soriano, another goal of the week candidate, a nice shot just outside the box from distance, made it 2-0. What we talked about with the UK Lecce boys is that going down early has always been a problem for Lecce. It showed in this game, 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. They would get one back here just before halftime. Mancosu would get a goal, make it 2-1 going into halftime. Then they kept punching, they kept trying to get it back in there. Falco with a goal of the week candidate made it 2-2. Looked like they're maybe going to get a point. But in the 93rd minute, Musa Barrow again, he's playing really well for Bologna, and he gets the game winner, 3-2, a sucker punch for Lecce on a weekend where Genoa lost and they had an opportunity to at least gain 1 point on them. They blew it at the very end. Tough pills to swallow there, Frank. Where do you want to start with these?
The save of the weekend didn't come from a goalkeeper. It came from Ladislav Krejci.
Yeah.
And there was some damn good goalkeeping this weekend too.
Yeah. Yoshida had a pretty good save as well in his game.
Yep. A sure goal from Filippo Falco that would have put Lecce ahead 3-2. Saved off the line by Krejci. And he got there last second to clear it off, because when I saw it, I said, goal, here we go. The margins that Lecce are going to get relegated by. It's disappointing. It's heartbreaking for them. The third goal by Bologna. I mean, in a normal environment, in a normal set of circumstances at 2-2, you're not throwing 10 men forward. But in the case of, Lecce, they had to do it. And we're looking at the run-ins. Genoa's got to travel to Sassuolo. They host Verona. And then Lecce, let's see what they've got going on here. They're at Udinese. They host Parma. So there's not anything in there that tells me they're going to be overcoming a 4-point deficit, because I think the run-ins are very, very similar. When you take a look at the form of the teams that they're playing against.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to get the same number of points or thereabouts over the next 2 games, and that's going to send Lecce down to Serie B, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's going to be hard. History's been on the side of Genoa, so it doesn't look good for the Lecce folks. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen. We've talked about it especially over the last 5 years. But it doesn't look like they're going to get it this year, unfortunately. But we'll see. A couple games left.
Yep. So it's the Napoli-Sassuolo game. I've never seen anything like that, even though all 4 offside calls were legit. Never seen anything like that.
I feel for them.
Yeah.
They're all correct. You're right. I mean, once you look at the replay, at first, at live action, you're like, what are you talking about? But when you watch the replay, it's just ever so slightly off. Many people have talked about, maybe changing the offsides rule because, having your arm off of this and that. But the right calls were made, and it's tough, especially if you're a Sassuolo fan, to see that happen unprecedented 4 times.
Sure. I think that the Milan-Atalanta game was – I found it to be balanced. I think Atalanta had slightly more chances in their favor over the course of the game. You had the Malinovsky missed penalty, a good save by Donnarumma. A poor penalty, though, if I'm going to be fair.
Let's talk about that penalty real quick. Did you think it was a penalty? Because many people were saying, first, yes, it was a penalty, then it should have been a red. We had people like Lisi saying, by the rule book, technically it's not a penalty because Malinovsky's on the ground. It should have been a dead ball to Milan. What was your thoughts on that whole play with the penalty?
There's some kind of conduct in there going on by is it the Milan player? It was Biglia.
Yes.
That's what it was. Biglia, I think, was trying to let me address Alex's question here first. Does anyone have a translation transcript of what Gasparini said that got him sent off against Bologna? He said nothing, and he got sent off. This was
Mihailovic said everything.
Yeah, Mihailovic said everything. Gasperini said nothing. And apparently the referee was not happy that he didn't retaliate, and he expected retaliation. He was so disappointed that he sent Gasperini to the stands when he should have sent Mihailovic to the stands.
Yeah.
So
Mihailovic laid into him big time.
Yeah, he did.
All the mics here.
Yeah, he did. And Matteo Bonetti was being I credit him for being very diplomatic about it. He said there's a lot of words being said that I just can't say on TV.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I think you have to give him a penalty. I mean, Lucas Biglia seemed hell-bent on making sure Ruslan Malinovsky can't help produce kids with the challenge that he made.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know if there was a booking in there, but I think that the conduct was
he got a yellow.
Yeah. Oh, he got a yellow? Okay.
Yeah. That's after VAR got involved. He got a yellow.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know. It was not a red card situation, at least not from the surface. The conduct certainly warranted a booking and a penalty for me.
So, I heard what Lisi was saying that, when a player's on the ground, it should be a foul against that player on the ground and ball turned over. So if you're looking at that, okay, I agree with that. Because I thought it was a penalty the whole time, based on before I even knew that piece of knowledge. But then my question is, if even it is a foul, Bila came in with studs in, that's an automatic red card for me. I thought that was a dangerous play. A yellow was laughable, especially after VAR. So my question is then, if it is a foul supposedly on Atalanta, but a player comes in with a vulgar challenge like that, does it get flipped around? What supersedes what? I don't know the rule book that well to make a comment on that, but from what I saw, I thought Biglia was a dangerous play on Malinovsky. Whoever the foul was on, I thought that he deserved a red nonetheless. So people are happy to see Malinovsky miss that penalty because they thought it was justified. Great save by Donnarumma. It was a poorly placed shot by Malinovsky, but I think Biglia watching a replay was just dangerous. Studs into the shin. It could have been bad. It could have been a broken leg. So.
Yeah, I think he was going for something else. I don't think he was going for the shin. Just from the replays that I saw. So, Inter just keep, boy, they found something here with this Alexis Sanchez, and I keep saying the same thing. I said this a couple of weeks ago with the combination of Sanchez and Lukaku up front. How Marotta hasn't turned around to Barcelona and say, "How much did you say you wanted to pay for Lautaro? We'll give him to you now."
Yeah.
So, boy, Alexis Sanchez has been such a revelation since coming over, and even Christian Eriksen as well. It's like.
Ashley Young as well, too, I think.
And I don't want this to turn into a team of Premier League outcasts, but Conte's molding them into something pretty special here. And Alexis Sanchez has been reborn. Eriksen the more he gets into this, the more he's going to find his feet. Lukaku got off the bus and started scoring goals.
He got shaped what he did. I mean, I don't remember if it was Uncle Sharma or who was posting videos of him making runs at the beginning of the season compared to now. And he's so much fitter now, and he can get those runs now. And he did good for himself and Inter. The more he got in shape, the better he got, the more goals he got. So, was he up to 23 now in the year? Pretty good season. Good season for first campaign.
Very impressive opening campaign. And I would mark him among, depending on how this Inter team is formed. I would have him among the favorites for Capocan and Yeti next season. So
yeah. I would agree with that. Assuming Ronaldo stays in the league, he's going to be there. Immobile. It's curious with Atalanta, right? They got at least three guys, maybe four guys now, 15 goals or more. Muriel, who comes off the bench. What do you do with him next year, right? Zapata had all these goals this year, but Muriel got more coming off the bench. Do you keep playing the same way? Do you start Muriel more? That's an interesting dilemma to have for Gasperini.
Well, you're going to need to keep them. I mean, you're going to have the same fixture pileups, and it's going to be worse next season with everything condensed.
Yeah, it came out of blessing in disguise with all this for Atalanta having two top strikers on their team.
Yeah, so you can rotate them, you can figure things out. I mean, the way they're set up, Zapata is the primary guy, and for good reason.
Yeah.
But Muriel can come in and just be so much, just as dangerous. So, the business they've done with Fiorentina the last couple of years, getting Muriel and then getting Ilicic before that, look at the team that Fiorentina could have right now. And look at the attack they could have right now.
Yeah.
Ilicic, Chiesa, and Muriel.
Yeah. I mean, look at the attack they have now, but they're just not playing.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's what it is. I mean, but yeah, he has that many goals and he's only started 8 games, Muriel. So, but it's going to be important for them to hang on to everybody with the fixtures coming just as thick and fast next year and on a larger scale. So,
the Champions League money too is going to help keep those guys as well.
Oh yeah.
Or if they lose some, they can actually go buy some other ones. So
yeah,
good for them.
I can't see any of these guys leaving either. I don't see anybody coming after any of these guys. That's the interesting part.
What's interesting, and I think you're right, no one's going to leave, but there's one player who's been saying, he wants to play. He has his heart set playing at Schalke, and that's Robin Gosens. For some odd reason, maybe he just grew fascinated with this team, but throughout the season, he's been making comments saying, I would love to play with Schalke. If they want to sign me, I'll agree with terms with them. But they obviously don't have the money to get him, so he's going to probably stay there. Is
that his boyhood club, or
I don't know. I mean, he's from Belgium, or Germany, I guess. But
he's German.
Yeah, so maybe it is a boyhood club. I don't know, but he keeps talking about he would love to play for them, but they don't have the money to buy him. So if I was him, I would just stay at Atalanta. I mean, all the players, they got such a good thing going at Atalanta. Why would you leave it?
You'd have to
see what you can do next year.
You'd have to send. You'd have to swap. You'd have to swap Kututsu. And probably McKennie.
Yeah.
There you go, Alex. Weston McKennie to Atalanta. You'd have to send Gosens the other way. So I think Weston McKennie actually could fit into that Atalanta setup. I think he's got some characteristics that you see with Deron and with Freuler.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but that could be a crazy take too. So
You said crazier, so.
Yeah, I've said crazier things and I've said some actually really crazy things that have come true. So like Milan hiring Pioli.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
But yeah, so those are. I mean, I think that you're seeing some status quo. You're seeing Brescia playing out the stretch right now. Who's the director of football for Schalke?
Sorry, what's that again?
Who's the director of football for Schalke?
I think Jochen Schneider holds that position at the moment. He's
okay.
He came from RB Leipzig.
Okay. You guys keeping Wagner?
Yeah. See what he can do. I mean, they had such rotation of managers, but yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
I am too. So. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyway, well, you got Milan. They're on a roll. So
yeah, fingers crossed.
Yep. So Napoli, Husai did something good again, and Alan getting a cameo. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when Alan was considered one of the best midfielders in the world.
Yeah, right. I know. Good for him. And there's rumors that he might be gone after the season, but good way to get a goal for him. And Husai getting his first goal, and for Napoli, that's I was surprised by that. When I said that, I was like, really?
Yeah.
When he scored before, but I guess not. It was a good goal. Good goal.
Yep, for sure. It was. Oh yeah, he took it very well.
He did.
So that's a wrap. I mean, that certainly set things up for an interesting rest of Sunday. We have a new Multicalcio time slot. It's 1:30 Eastern. It's normally 9 a.m. Eastern, but because of the summer, because of the heat, they're starting these games as late as they possibly can. And it is very hot in Italy right now. So we'll get into the remaining games. Hellas Verona playing host to Lazio. Lazio getting a little wind in their sails after that 2-1 win over Cagliari. Would fall behind to Verona in the first half. A Sofian Amrabat penalty, putting Juric's men up by a goal to nil. I thought that penalty call was a little bit on the soft side. It felt like it was more of a just guys running into each other than a penalty.
I couldn't see if there was contact by the defender or he just tripped over his own feet. But since it was inconclusive for me, I would assume the same thing, and the call on the field stands, right?
Yep. Just before halftime, Immobile is kind of sandwiched in between a couple of Verona players, one of which was Darko Lazovic, who put a knee to his chest but also handled the ball. And I think that the penalty call was for the handball. Referee didn't seem to have any problem with Lazovic putting a knee in Ciro Immobile's chest. But Immobile stepped up anyway, made the penalty. My pick for Capo Cannonieri, netting his 32nd goal of the season at that moment. leveling things at 1-1 going into the break. And then a free kick, Sergei Milinkovic-Savic. Jerry Mancini said, what a blast. Come on, Jerry. It hit off a defender and went in. What a blast.
No comments on Jerry.
Gotta educate that boy a little bit about what good quality goals look like.
He's happy. He's got a successful team this year.
Yeah, you know, they'll finish 8th next year.
Hi, Jerry.
But anyway, Lazio scores through Milinkovic-Savic off a defender, making it 2-1 to Lazio, and then it was Correa in the 62nd minute, making it 3-1 to Lazio. The rout was on, and then in the 83rd minute, Ciro Immobile with a goal of the week candidate. Yeah, beautifully taken to put Lazio up 4-1. That would be goal number 33, and then he gets his hat trick, his tripletta, and a penalty at that in the 94th after he was brought down in the penalty area by the goalkeeper Radunovic. Rough outing for the goalkeeper in his debut for Verona.
Yeah.
Lazio put 5 past him in a 5-1 win. Roma and Fiorentina. Roma had 60% of the possession. They had 22 shots, but it was 2 Jordan Veretout penalties in the 45th minute and in the 87th minute. Guiding Roma to the win. In between then, Milinkovic scoring on a corner from Eric Pulgar. That ended 2-1. New Roma kits furnished by Patagonia, apparently.
I think you're not a fan. I did see it. I actually do like the. I do like the kits. I think first time I saw was Scott Monroe purchased it. I thought it looked nice. At least it looked nice on him. Yeah, Patagonia. That's a good shout.
It looks like some kind of Horizon thing. It looks like something I should wear when I'm going backpacking or hiking with my wife.
I was saying to you, it reminded me of the old Houston Astros jerseys, the one with the red and yellow there. So throw back to Nolan Ryan days.
But those were, those were like the back. It wasn't that. It wasn't the. It
wasn't like this. It wasn't like.
Yeah, it was. It was white, and there was some navy. You know, here where it looked a little more sensible. Here, this is just like. And I'm not like a fashion expert or anything like that, but these guys are messing around with these kits too much. You got this. You got Inter's away kit. You know, you got some of the stuff that's coming out. Juve this year with the pink down the middle. And going away from their traditional stripes. It's, we're getting
Ronaldo effect.
We're getting into the apparently. We're getting into the it's like they're taking a page out of college football's playbook where they're just going nuts with all their uniform designs and colors.
It's about money. It's about money. That's what
Fair.
it is.
Fair, I guess, if that's the way it looks. George, cover your ears. Cagliari 0, Udinese 1, a Stefano Okaka goal in the 2nd minute. He just embarrassed Luca Cepatelli on this goal. And that put the Zebedetta up by 1-0, and it would stay that way throughout the match. Musso, 6 saves in this game. He just continues to show good form. He had 5 saves against Juve? No, 4 saves against Juve, 6 saves here. He's just on a tear. Cagliari had they had 6 chances on goal. So Musso had 6 saves, but Zenga, I had some Cagliari. There was Serie A contest on DraftKings, and I had Joao Pedro and I had Ligo Giannis in my lineups, and Ligo Giannis was tearing it up with crosses, with shots, with everything like that. And you know what happens? Zenga subs him in the 53rd minute. One of the best players on the pitch, and Zenga decides to take him out. Come on, hey George, Zenga out already. Let's get EDF in there. EDF would not have brought Ligo Giannis out for all of his flaws.
They stunk it up in the last couple of weeks. So
all right, but and some of these other guys that had been performing really well. So he brings on Farago, and he brings on, if you're worried about rotation, play this guy for 90 minutes and then play Farago for 90 minutes in the next game.
I don't want to hear about rotation because Zlatan can play 90 minutes every game apparently, which is
and he's 38 years old.
I know. I can't even do that. Well, we're the same age, but whatever.
I'm 45. I'm done after 10.
I feel terrible about myself. I'm the same age as Zlatan, and I look nothing like him.
Alex is saying Utah Jazz. Yeah, but that actually looked a little more coherent because it was like blue, green, yellow, purple stripes.
Right.
So this is like maroon or burgundy or whatever you want to call Roma, the Roma red with an actual like fire red and orange, yellow. It just so not on board with Roma's home kit. So I got to look at that all next year, don't I? You
do.
So I'll just wait for them. I'll just wait for their away matches where they have to change kits. So
here you go. Now everyone can see what we're talking about there. There you go. There's a Roma kits.
I can't do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It like I said, it looks good when a person. It looked good when Scott was wearing it, but yeah, I can see it's interesting. It's interesting.
I'm just asking the chat thoughts on Roma kit. Not a fan. Not a fan. There's
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon. George is on fire tonight.
He is. What you drinking, George?
I should do the rest of my games. Spal won, Torino won. Torino had 20 shots. Simone Verdi had a lot of them. He had a lot of crosses too, and he scored a beauty in the 57th minute. D'Alessandro equalizes in the 79th to make it 1-1. A debut start for Dumba Thiam in goal for Spal, who made 5 saves. So clearly a better debut for him than Radunovic for Verona. And then, of course, the coronation, Juventus 2, Sampdoria 0, which would officially make Juventus champions. Clever free kick. Pjanic playing the ball across Ronaldo, who scored. And if anybody did, you saw this. If everybody in the chat saw it, they line up looking like Pjanic is going to cross this in, and Ronaldo is sitting on the way back post. I should on the back post, and I should also point out that there's not a Sampdoria player within 3 yards of him.
Yeah, it's just Ronaldo.
Yeah, he breaks back to the top of the box where Pjanic just plays it across to him, and he hits a one-touch shot, and it goes in. Yeah. How do you not have one of the most dangerous goal scorers in Serie A, and how do you not have somebody touch tight on him? Claudio Ranieri has accomplished a lot in his career, but I think they dropped the ball on that one.
I'm wondering on that free kick, because, Ronaldo normally takes them. If he said, I'm not going to take this one, but you got to pass to me. That's the only condition. You can take the free kick, but you have to give it to me. I wonder about that.
Probably.
It worked. I mean, obviously, he scored a goal the other week, and this week he gets one off of a pass from Pjanic. So,
and it was in a range where Pjanic could strike that too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It was just but clever. I give a lot of credit to Juventus. That's a well thought out training ground style free kick that they scored. I think that Sampdoria was clearly not ready for it and deserved to be beaten by it. So
all day.
And then 67th minute, Gonzalo Higuain leading the counterattack. Chairs were shaking and jumping up and down as he was running, but he played it to Ronaldo on the left-hand side. And here's problem number 2 with Sampdoria's defense. He's taking on the defender 1v1, and I'm looking at the defender. I said, he's going to cut in. He's going to cut in. He does not want it on his left. But what happens? He cuts in. And what does the second defender do? He backs off. If you're the second defender, you're not there to back off. If he beats the first guy, you're supposed to step up.
Who needs defense?
Yeah, but they back off. They pretty much give Ronaldo an open invitation to take a shot that Odero bobbles, and Federico Bernardeschi scores to make it 2-0.
Yeah.
And then no Juventus game is complete without a penalty that Ronaldo hit the woodwork.
And Atalanta fans are like, where was that last week, right? Yeah, I mean, hey, everybody misses. Ronaldo, people say how fantastic of a penalty kick taker he is, and he's good, but he has a share of misses. Him and Messi have both missed plenty more than you'd expect. And so there's that one, the woodwork got in the way there, but 2-0. Juve got the win at home in front of cardboard cutouts, maybe. I don't know. It was at least they won at home, I guess, because many of these teams tend to win on the road, the clincher. So it's good for them that they get to win at home. So
I don't think it's Agnelli's style to have cardboard cutouts.
No.
So
I like how Inter and Milan have that the video screen, and a couple of other teams have that, the video screen with the you can see like postings from people on Twitter on that during the game, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's better than the cutouts, I think.
Yeah. They do. Do they really do that? They have those in the.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah. If you next time you watch anytime Milan or Inter is home next game, watch it on the boards. They have these digital videos from Twitter, people posting videos or Instagram, and it's live during the game. So it looks like people are there watching, but it's just video replays.
It would only be amusing to me if the social media people from those clubs would allow the obscenities to be posted.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
I would, and then if you could occasionally flash the camera on them so we can have a look at it and see what they're saying.
Yeah, just videos of the people, not the wording, because I think they would not.
It would save me a lot of trouble with scrolling on my own phone.
Yeah, it would.
Or have a separate camera on that and watch that. So or live tweets.
You'd miss the game completely then. You just watch that the whole time.
Well, at this stage of the season,
Not missing much.
Yeah, we're watching a Capocannoniere race, and we're watching to see who's going to be vice champion at this point.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 teams with it's 76, 75, and 75. Inter host Napoli at Atalanta. For their run-in. We got to figure out something to get excited about, like who can finish second.
Atalanta get 100 goals
at Parma, hosting Inter, and then Lazio hosting Brescia at Napoli.
Interesting game.
Chiro's going to win this Capocannoniere. He's going to break the record.
Yep. You can make me eat my own words, but that's fun. I like it. That's good. That's good. That's good.
He's on track. Juve at Cagliari host Roma, by the way, for those that are interested to see what Ronaldo's path looks like to the Capocannoniere. So I think that Chiro's is better.
Yeah.
So great idea. I'm assuming you're talking about my need to see live tweets and of vulgarities so I don't have to scroll during games. So. Goals of the week.
Goals of the week. Let me pull up my trusty abacus here. That's where I got my notes.
Yeah, before we went on air, everybody, Richard had like 30 honorable mentions. So
yeah, I'm going to mention every one of them. Okay, so my honorable mentions are Palacios, the first goal for Bologna, nice backheel flick by Barro. Soriano's goal, good goal from distance. Falco for Lecce had a good goal as well. And Çalhanoğlu's free kick is another honorable mention. So my top 5, number 5, Dejan Kulusevski, lovely strike with a right-footed shot. He's a left-footed shot, folks, and he got a brilliant curve on that shot. Wonderful. Number 5. Number 4, Immobile's second goal. What a way to open up his body and get that shot off with his right foot. Brilliant strike there. Come number 3, Simone Verde. Where has he been? Lovely left-footed shot, top corner. I mean, pinpoint accuracy there. Number 2 for me is Romelu Lukaku, his solo run in the 93rd minute. Just the big man was moving, and he was moving the defenders too. Going left and right, zigging and zagging, getting a goal there, capped it off. My goal of the week, though, I'm going to cheat a little bit because I haven't seen a better goal in the last couple of weeks, and that's Frank Kessié, Frank the Tank, his bomb from distance. Goalie didn't even move; it just went top corner. Yep. That's the goal of the week, and I'm cheating, and I don't care.
Okay, well, that's your top 5. We didn't have any bylaws about what match week you had to use.
Right.
And next time I'll bring up Dejan Savicevic's goal from the '94 Champions League final.
George Soriano Cagliari goals for goals of the week.
So I don't know if you can see this, but Alex just texted me. That's the Utah Jazz.
There you go. Good call, Alex. Good call, Alex.
So that's actually worse than Roma's kit.
Yeah.
So that's actually worse than Roma's kit.
Yeah.
So anyway, when was Kessie's goal?
Midweek, right? It was before Atalanta game. It was against
not against Sassuolo. Ibra had a brace.
How long ago was it? I don't know. It's still a good goal. I don't care. It's been a while.
You're like next time we do this, you're gonna have goals from like
it was in September,
3
and I
years
don't
ago.
care. Quagliarella's goal from 3 years back.
I don't even know what the days are anymore.
I don't. Is the season over yet? Man. I'm not even drinking.
Well, all 5 of my goals of the week are from the weekend. So
okay. They're present. Okay.
And so are my honorable mentions.
Okay.
I have 4 honorable mentions. The Soriano goal, like you mentioned, the Falco goal, like you mentioned, Okaka abusing Cepatelli. Seedorf's goal against Inter, goal of the week, Brian Johnson.
Oh, Brian Johnson.
Brian's only here to see if he won Calcio Twitter.
That's right. That's right. Came in the right time.
Lukaku's goal in the end against Genoa is in my honorable mentions. Çalhanoğlu's free kick makes
Bayer Leverkusen?
No, the one for Milan.
Okay.
Free kick against Atalanta in the 14th minute on Friday. That's number 5. Number 4, Cristiano Ronaldo of Juventus. Today, the free kick that he told Pjanic to pass to him. So that's number 4 for me. Simone Verdi of Torino, not of Napoli or Bologna, of Torino. Okay. He's in at number 3. He actually had a fantastic game against Spal, and the goal was the icing on the cake. Ciro Immobile of Lazio, not Sevilla, not Borussia Dortmund, not Torino. Okay. His second goal against Hellas Verona makes number 2. And then my number 1 is Dejan Kulusevski of Parma. I thought that was a brilliant goal.
Yeah, it was a really good goal.
Just very well taken, and I will give him my nod for goal of the week. And I'm sure that Juve supporters are very much going to be looking forward to seeing him try and do that in the black and white. So, before we get to who won Calcio Twitter, because I know that's what everybody's here for.
That's right.
Winners and losers this week. Well, Juventus champions again. It's really hard to pick anybody other than them. But I'm going to go with Udinese. I'm going to go with the other black and whites, getting the win at home against Juventus, and then getting a win at Cagliari that I had my doubts about and didn't expect, just because you beat Juventus, you pretty much secure your survival. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, they're going to go to the island and they're going to enjoy the nice beaches and they're going to kind of get away from. I don't know. I think with the way they've got the rules set up, I don't know how much free time you're really and how much you can get away from maybe some of the restricted areas they have for you and such, but having a little fun on the beautiful island and enjoying their safety and enjoying beating Juventus and having a little bit of a hangover game, but they beat Cagliari. So I Udinese getting 6 out of a possible 6, 2 tricky fixtures for them too. And Luca Gotti and the job he's doing. I'll go with Udinese as my winner. Loser for me, is a tough shout here to try to pick a loser out of this bunch. I am going to go with Brescia, formerly relegated midweek, and then a little bit harsh on them. They put up a fight. I think I'll also put Cagliari in that category. Sorry, George. A team that's just kind of looking like they're playing out the stretch, but Brescia and Cagliari are kind of tied for me for my loser of the week.
Okay. All good shouts. Winners of the week. Sorry, Sassuolo fans. I think VAR is winner of the week. Got every one of those calls correct, unfortunately for them. 4 in one game. Ridiculous. But VAR is the winner of the week for me. I know everyone in England's like, what? VAR. And then loser of the week I'm going to go with Lecce. They had an opportunity to get a point. They could not focus for the, once 90 minutes hit. And Musabaro, doing what he does best, scoring goals, and he got the game winner there in the 93rd minute. It's a gut punch to them. They had an opportunity with Genoa losing early in the game in the match week. Bitter for them, because that could spell relegation for them right there.
Yeah, I think that might have been the time where we throw dirt on their Serie A campaign for sure. Yeah. So, all right, let's wrap this up with our latest Who Won Calcio Twitter. So the first one, this is number 3, at the DD away, winning the first one. Last week I went with Art Morelli with his bonsai, with his dying bonsai tree, saying Roma's last trophy and how they're treating it. What was yours? Did you go with you went with the Milan tweet? And
I don't remember anymore, but I think overall Art. I agree with the Art one. I did like the Milan one, but yeah, this. It was a small clubs thing, and Juventus is thrown in the small clubs. But Morelli definitely with the bonsai. That was classic.
Well played, for sure. All right, so let's get on with this week's editions. We've got a handful of nominees.
Yeah.
So let's look here.
Well, obviously George came in with tonight with if Cagliari had cardboard cutout fans, they would try to leave after today's performance. So George with a late entry there.
Well played, George. We like it. We like it.
That's good.
All right. So that's what, again, Jordan. And George can be followed at Jersey SoCal. And again, if Cagliari had cardboard cutout fans, they would try to leave after today's performance, in reference to Cagliari losing to Udinese. That is a winner. Art Morelli is back on the board again at Art Morelli, and it is of the. You want to share what that one is?
Yeah. So this is a tweet. I'll read his tweet. It says, "My wife said, sorry, we only have these Inter away plates left," and it's a picture of a blue and white plate with a pie on it, and it's just funny. It looks just like their new kits with the dish rag or whatever you want to call it. Tic-tac-toe jersey. It's pretty funny.
All right,
I'll have to show a picture later. So
okay. Also on the board is the folks from the At All Juve cast. Alberto, sorry for the break last match. Clearly why we lost, but La Pencina is back for Juve Samp. Here's a clip. This was reviewing the Udinese Juventus loss and then getting ready for Juve Samp. And I believe it was Alberto who went on an epic rant about Juve's failures in the Champions League, cussing them out, cussing the whole situation out. And if you watch the video long enough, he pulls out a replica of the Champions League trophy, old Big Ears itself.
Only way Juve can get the title is if he gets it. So it was just a funny video. You got to watch it.
His buddies all have just said you just jinxed it. You're not supposed to touch the trophy before the tournament's over. So
they're not going to win anyway. Come on.
This is true. They're going to get to the final. If they get to the final, they'll lose. Because that's what they do.
Oh, man.
So speaking of Juve, at Real Don Agnelli, Agnelli. If you are not following this account, you should be. This is Andrea Agnelli, the owner of Juventus, as if he was tweeting like President Trump. Okay. And I'm not going to go into politics here. I'm just, we all are very well aware of the tweeting. So, but in reference after Juventus lost to Udinese, the reason some in the fake news calcio media claim Juventus have so many losses is because we have so many matches. If we didn't play as many matches, we wouldn't have as many losses. And this is in the school of Patrick Ewing's. We spend a lot of money because we make a lot of money.
That's right. Oh, great tweet. Great tweet.
Well played, Real Don Agnelli. At the DD away, trying to come back for a second win after Nicolo Zaniolo scoring a brilliant goal against Spal at midweek, a former Inter player, and his tweet, plain and simple, we gave them Zaniolo for Nainggolan, for fuck's sake.
Whoops.
Nothing like a frustrated fan who watched the one that got away.
Oh, man.
Do you have wise old BHJ's tweet? That's Brian Johnson, who's in the chat right now.
I do. He says, just putting this out there, Serie A total goals with 2 match days remaining, 1,083 goals. EPL total goals with the season complete now, 1,035. Advantage, Serie A.
I like it.
That's great. Good stat.
And that can be a contender for winning Who Won Calcio Twitter when you're dropping some facts that throw some shade on some of the other leagues that think they're better than us.
Dropping the mic.
We like it. So we'll have that. Let's see here. At Nima Tavrud, our good friend Nima Tavali, hashtag Pjanic finally got to take a free kick, and hashtag CR7 finally got to score from a free kick situation. Everyone wins.
Yay!
In reaction to Ronaldo's goal on that set piece against Sampdoria. So well played. So we have 7 to pick from, where as the week was going on, I was getting worried we weren't going to have any to pick from.
Yeah, the good ones came late.
Yep, everybody brought it toward the end. So we've got 7 to pick from. Let's make a top 3 out of this. Give me your bronze medalist, your silver medalist, and your gold medalist.
I think that's even harder. All right. So okay, my bronze medalist is going to go to Don Agnelli with his tweet about the all the losses for the because he played so many games. That's number 3. That's the bronze. My silver. Oh, that's tough. I'm gonna go with if Cagliari had cardboard cutout fans, they would try to leave after today's performance. And my gold medal winner is going to be all Juve cast Alberto holding up the fake Champions League trophy, because that's the only way that Juventus can win it is by buying a fake one. So that wins it for me. The video did it. If it wasn't the video, they wouldn't have won. But the video did wonders there. So that and the rant.
I like all 3 of those, and you're speaking my language, and they're all so close for me. But I got to say, I'm going to go silver medal at Real Don Agnelli.
Okay.
They'll probably be, if he's listening to this, we're probably going to be in his crosshairs. You gave him a silver medal. You gave him you gave him a bronze medal. I gave him a bronze medal. So,
oh well.
Real Don Agnelli, we don't want your wrath. We know you can. We know you're going to come good. We know you're going to win this thing eventually. Okay. So, but I'll flip the other 2. The silver. I'm going to give the all Juve cast the silver medal. I got to give poor George with what he's going through. It's been a rough week. George, to me, you won Calcio Twitter today. You did it. You just got it in the door at the end. If Cagliari had cardboard cutout fans, they would try to leave after today's performance.
Oh, that's great.
So
we gave him a shout. Art Morelli.
Art Morelli deserves a shout. Definite honorable mention to that.
Absolutely.
For sure. Brian,
Absolutely.
we love the stats. George likes the fact drop as number 1. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and look, they're all great. You guys all brought it. Keep bringing it.
So the whale one that Brian's referring to, it's a picture of a whale that he made, and it says Juve Merda. It's funny. It's funny. You got to see it. You got to see the tweet.
Yep.
It's all good. They're all good. You guys are awesome.
Yep. Keep them coming, man. This is going to be fun. So let's break down what's going on real quick before we sign off. Let's just remind everybody we have midweek taking place. It looks like it's just going to be Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday, you have Parma hosting Atalanta and Inter hosting Napoli. And then on Wednesday, saddle up, there's 8 games. 12:30, Hellas Verona hosting Spal, Lazio hosting Brescia, Sampdoria hosting Milan, Sassuolo hosting Genoa, Udinese hosting Lecce, Cagliari hosting Juve, Fiorentina hosting Bologna, and Torino hosting Roma. And then to wrap it up, all games on match day 38 will be played on August 2nd at 1:30 East.
Wow.
Atalanta hosting Inter, Bologna hosting Torino, Brescia hosting Samp, Genoa hosting Verona, Juve hosting Roma, Lecce hosting Parma, Milan hosting Cagliari, Napoli hosting Lazio, Spal hosting Fiorentina, and Sassuolo hosting Udinese. So those are the last 20 games of the 2019-2020 Serie A season. Great to see that we're going to get this thing completed. When we were sitting back in March, we were wondering if we were even going to.
Yeah. I'm wondering of the top 7 teams, because they're the teams that's the biggest gap after that. Do the positions flip at all the last 2 weeks here? And I'm talking about Atalanta, Inter, or Napoli and Milan. So I think the rest ones are pretty secure.
I think Inter has the toughest run in between them, Atalanta and Lazio. I think Lazio has a relatively decent run. I mean, they got to go to Napoli at the end. I think that Atalanta has a chance to finish second.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do too.
I think they've got a real good chance to do that, and it depends on what Inter comes out with. And I mean, it depends on how motivated these guys are to want to finish second at this point. And then the Milan and Napoli. Milan traveled to Sampdoria, where Samp did what they had to do to just ensure survival, and it looks like they're starting to tail off a little bit. I say that lightly because I think they performed well against Juve.
Yeah.
The Genoa game was the Derby game was weird. In terms, I was amazed that Ranieri didn't play Quagliarella from the start in that game. That was another thing I wanted to point out. That raised an eyebrow for me because Quagliarella has a nice history of scoring against Genoa.
Yeah.
Milan at Samp and hosting Cagliari is a much easier run-in than what Napoli's putting up with, where they're finishing up with Inter and Lazio.
Yeah.
So I've got to give the edge to Milan holding on to 6th.
I think Roma keeps that 5th spot as well.
I think so.
I
think Roma keeps 5th. So, and I think Sassuolo right now, they've kind of done this little thing where, okay, this is nice. We got a nice little run. And I think that the wheels have started to fall off a little bit for them. And I could see any one of Verona, Bologna, or Parma beating them to 8th.
Okay.
So we'll see. I mean, if you guys are really looking for things at this stage of the competition, those would be what I'd be looking at.
I agree. I'm gonna be watching Lecce and Genoa these last 2 weeks. See what happens. Anything can happen, but it's gonna be tight.
They have fixtures against mid-table teams, but their form and the way they're playing, I don't see Lecce getting that many points.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a real challenge. Lecce have to win their last 2 games. That's really what it comes down to. So, and I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's a shame because they play relatively attractive football. So Dom, Will, Max, sorry. I wish it would be better. I wish it could be better for you guys. But
yeah.
But with that, let's put a bow on this edition of Serie Sit Down. Shameless plug time.
Yeah. Obviously, follow this page here. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. You can find me on pretty much anywhere social media at R_KHARMAN. I am going on a little vacation, so I will be back in a couple weeks. Yeah, I know it's the end of the season, but hey, that's what happens sometimes when life hits you. So I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna continue watching the podcast, and we're gonna be here for the end podcast, the season review. Don't worry about that. So it's coming.
Richard's checking out early, so yeah, I will be tackling that review podcast, and I am going to be assembling a squad of guests. Maybe a guest, maybe a couple of guests. I'll just keep you all in suspense, but I'll get that put together as the week goes on. I agree with Richard. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to us. I'm at FTC_21 on Twitter. That's where you can follow me. Serie Sit Down, we have our own channel on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud. You can find us on Stitcher. You can find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever podcasts are played. Serie Sit Down can be found at Serie Sit Down on Twitter and Instagram. We also have a Facebook page. Check us out there. And, of course, you can find us here too. So looking forward to these last batch of games and getting this season behind us and seeing what the European competitions hold for the remaining Serie A teams as well. It's going to be a pretty exciting month of August as it relates to that. So we'll be back next week with our season wrap. Thanks to everybody who took part in the chat. It's awesome. It gives us some talking points, and it's much appreciated.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Yep. And congratulations to the All Juve cast and to George, who are our winners, who have won Calcio Twitter this week with their takes or with their tweets. And we will catch you next week. And until then, keep looking out for our content. And as always, be sure you're telling your paisans about us. Ciao.